Hey y'all, welcome back. We're on part 2 of pupils. The first one was Horner's pathway, and that was sympathetic anisocoria greater in dark. Today we're going to switch gears and we're going to follow suit with that. We're going to do anisocoria greater in light, parasympathetic pupils. And like I said last time, my name is Dr. Amy Connor. I am an optometrist here in San Antonio. I work for a big ophthalmology group here. And these two videos have helped me when I was studying for boards. These two topics were really some of my hard ones to go through. So I thought it would be nice to kind of break it down so you could learn each pathway separately so you know it directly for your optometry boards part 1. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. Things you'll see this time is since the first video we have rebranded from NBEO Go. Now we are OD on the Go. So if you want to find more of us, we're at odonthego.org. We're a nonprofit organization trying to help young optometrists or young student optometrists learn to study for boards. So if you want to get our 7,000 flashcards on hand, check us out on odonthego.org. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with parasympathetic pupils. Okay, like I told you today, we're going to learn about parasympathetic. That is the anisocoria greater in bright. So the first thing that you need to know is that there's 3 separate ones that you need to kind of lump in this category. Anytime you hear a parasympathetic problem, think of 80s tonic pupil, Argall-Robertson pupils, or dorsal midbrain syndrome, which is also known as Perry-Nod syndrome. What we're going to look at today is what anisocoria greater in light means. Last video, we went over anisocoria greater in dark. Today, we're going to talk about aniso greater in light. What that physically means is the bigger pupil cannot constrict down when there's a bright light shine on it. So the parasympathetic problem is not, it's a parasympathetic lesion, meaning that the parasympathetic pathway can't kick in and constrict that pupil. So anisocoria greater in bright, what that means is when you hear the difference, think about the range between both sizes of pupil. So in aniso greater in dark, the previous video, the range between each pupil is much larger in dark light. Here we're going to switch it up, and the range is bigger between pupil size, between each pupil, when the lights are bright, when you already have room light on and then you shine a bright light on them. So if you look up here, this is how they'll look when they come in, and you can barely tell the difference. When you put a bright light on them, the eye should constrict more, but it doesn't. So here, the right eye stays the same. It's the parasympathetic problem, meaning that if you look at the range, 8 millimeters versus 4 millimeters, is much bigger in the bright light than it would be without a bright light. That's only 1 millimeter difference here. Here, it's 4 millimeters of difference. So you know it's a parasympathetic problem because the eyes won't constrict when there's a bright light being shined on them. Now, let's jump into all 3 of these. There's 3 separate parasympathetic problems. The first one you need to know is 80s tonic pupil. It's one pupil. It's monocular. It happens in young girls, and the ciliary ganglion is blown. That can happen from a virus. It can be idiopathic. And then one thing for boards you do need to know, commonly with this pupil that's slow reacting or doesn't react, doesn't constrict down, is they're missing deep tendon reflexes. Argall-Robertson pupils, also a parasympathetic problem. It comes from syphilis. It blows out the Edinger-Westphal lesion, and that's both eyes. Both eyes will not constrict down. So when you shine the bright light on them, they're both this stable pupil that doesn't constrict. Now, dorsal midbrain, also known as Perry-Nods, is a parasympathetic reflex arc problem. And normal pupils, however, they don't constrict, but they also, in just a second, you'll see that they have upgaze problems like a palsy. And then when you start to read, they get a nystagmus. So this chart here is a really good summary. I would 100% know this in the sense that this summarizes the parasympathetic problems. In just a second, we're going to jump into 80s tonic and that little mnemonic there. And then Argall-Robertson, where the lesion is, and then where the lesion is in the dorsal midbrain. So this is a really great chart for you to pause, take a screenshot of, and know. It's also on your flashcards. Now, jumping into light-near dissociation, I used to get this so confused all the time. All this physically means is the pupils don't do the same thing at light and near in these problems. In normal eyes, they constrict in light and they constrict in near. In these eyes, because there's a parasympathetic problem, all of them can react to near, but will not react to light. Again, they will not react to light, but can accommodate, or they can focus down or constrict down like they're supposed to at near. That's all light near dissociation means. All three of these can have it. The first one, 80s, you always hear 80s tonic pupil. Tonic means slow. That means that there is no light response whatsoever, like we said, but there is a slow near response. Slow means tonic. That's why it's called a tonic pupil, because maybe it constricts a little bit for near, but it's very slow, but it will not respond at all to light. One mnemonic for 80s tonic is think about gin and tonic, the common drink. You go gin forward and then gin backwards, and you can spell it out. Glow is non-existent. Light is non-existent is what that means. And then if you go backwards, near is gentle. So it's just an easy way for you to remember it. But the easy way to think about it is no light response, slow near response. Next is Argyll-Robertson. We said that was the syphilis pupil. The near is normal. And I did not come up with this mnemonic. This mnemonic's online all over the place. So bear with me. It is called the prostitute eyes, syphilis eyes, neurosyphilis, because prostitutes can accommodate, but they do not react, meaning they do not react to light, but they can accommodate or do near response. And then the last one is the dorsal midbrain syndrome. This one has that light near dissociation, but it also has convergence retraction nystagmus. It also has convergence retraction nystagmus. The reason I say that is important, it's an important term to know, meaning when you go to converge, their eyes start to shake, or they have the nystagmus. They have lid retraction and an up gaze. When they're looking up, their lids are retracted and their eyes cannot fully go up because of this parasympathetic lesion. So that's where the lesion is, and that's in the dorsal midbrain. And then know that there's normal pupils, convergence retraction nystagmus, which stands out about it, lid retraction, and supranuclear gaze palsy. That's it for today. Like I said, we've rebranded to OD on the Go. And then our biggest reference here is Dr. Jan Bergmanson. He is the ocular anatomy guru. I did my contact lens fellowship residency with him, and his neuro section has a lot more on 80s tonic, the difference in parasympathetic versus Horner's. So if you have any other questions, feel free to look up his book online, or you can follow us on our new website, odonthego.org. Thank you so much.